Welcome to page 2. Let's take a look at question number 4. It says find the first 5 terms of the arithmetic sequence given this formula right here. All right, I'm just going to remind us all of this formula. A sub n equals a sub 1 plus d times n minus 1. Let's see, given, it looks like they gave us the 8th term and they gave us the 12th term, which are 26 and 42. All right, let's keep in mind that if it's an arithmetic sequence, there's a relationship between these numbers right here. I am constantly, it looks like, adding a number to get from one term to the next term to the next term. We know that if I'm adding the same amount for each term, that the relationship between the two of them is that it's linear. So the d in this case could be represented as the slope of a line. I'm constantly increasing by so much. So in order to find that common difference, I am going to take a look at the difference between the 12th term, which is 42, minus the 8th term, which is 26, and then subtract the difference between 12 and 8. So that is 16. That is 16 divided by 4, which is 4. So I know that the common difference is 4. Another way to do this would be, let's see, I know that if I have this term 26, that's the 8th term, if I add 4 times the difference, I should get the 12th term, which is 42, because the difference between 8 and 12 is 4. So 4 times that common difference would give me 42. If I simplify and solve, I'm also going to get 4 on this as well. So now that I know that the common difference is 4, I'm going to go ahead and find all of these terms. So I'm going to use this formula. Remember, a sub n equals the first term, I don't know what it is, plus the difference times n minus 1. All right, so there's that general formula. Let's go ahead and start filling in some of these values right here. A sub n, I could either use 26 or 42. I'm going to go ahead and do 26. Why? Just because. I don't know what the first term is. I do know that the difference is 4. And I know that 26 is the 8th term. So I'm going to do 8 minus 1. And then I'm going to simplify and get 26 equals a sub 1 plus, when I distribute, and I'm going to get 28. Solve, and I get a sub 1 is equal to negative 2. So my first term is negative 2. If I add 4 to that, I'll get 2, add 4, and add 4. So here are the first 5 terms of this sequence. Okay, so keep in mind, that's a really big formula right there. It helps a lot. Another big formula is this one right here. That was a messed up star. Anyways, the sum of the first n terms of an arithmetic series. So I know if it's got to be arithmetic, I can use this formula right here. S sub n equals n divided by 2 times the first term plus the last term in that series. Okay, so I want to find the 10th partial sum of this sequence, which means I want to find the sum of the first 10 terms of this sequence. So I know the first term, it's 8. And it looks like, remember, this is an arithmetic series, and the reason for that is I'm adding 18 to get to this term, at 18, at 18, at 18. Well, I need to find, if I'm going to use this formula right here, S sub 10, if I want to find the sum of the first 10 terms, let's go ahead and start this off. I'm going to do 10 divided by 2. I know that the first term is 8 because that's what's in this list right here. Plus, I need to find the 10th term. Well, in order to find that 10th term, I'm going to use this formula right here. That formula. So let's use that formula. The first term is 8 plus the difference between them is 18 times 10 minus 1 because I'm looking for the 10th term. If I distribute and simplify, I get 170. So I'm going to plug 170 into here. 178 times 5 is 890. That is the sum of the first 10 numbers in this sequence right here. Let's take a look at this one. Our good old friend sigma. I'm taking the sum. Remember, sigma means the sum of plug k equals 1 into this formula all the way up until 84. So I'm taking the sum of 84 terms right here. So I know that n equals 84. Let's go ahead and find the first term. A sub 1 would be 3 times plug 1 in for k minus 7. So the first term is equal to 3 minus 7, which is negative 4. I also need to find the last term, which is the 84th term. In order to find the 84th term, remember 84 is up on top, that's the last term in this sequence. I'm going to do 3 times 84 minus 7. 3 times 84 minus 7 is 245. So now I can use the sum formula that we learned right here. I'm taking the sum of 84 terms. So that would be 84 divided by 2 times the first term in this sequence is, it's negative 4, plus the 84th term in this sequence is 245. 241 times 42 is equal to 10,122 for that one. And then last problem on here, we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing. I'm taking the sum from 20 to 34. Now, keep in mind, 34 minus 20 is 14, but that's not how many terms I'm actually taking the sum of. If I want to figure out how many terms I'm actually taking the sum of, I need to do the upper number minus the lower number plus 1. So 34 minus 20 was 14, but then you need to add 1 to it, and I'm actually taking the sum of 15 numbers. So I'm trying to find the sum of 15 numbers. So I'm going to do 15 divided by 2 times, keep in mind, this is a big one. This is where kids are going to make a lot of mistakes right here. It's when this number is not 1. Then you have to do this over here. It's 1 more than you actually think it is. All right, let's go ahead and find the first term. So the first term, a sub 1, is when we plug in 20 into this formula. So negative 2 times 20 plus 3. Negative 2 times 20, negative 2 times 20 plus 3 is negative 37. And then I want to find the nth term, the 15th term, the last term, which is when I plug this top number in here, which is 34. Negative 2 times 34 plus 3. Negative 2 times 34 plus 3 is is negative 65. So let's go ahead and use that formula that we just learned. It would be 15 over 2 times the first term we found out was negative 37. The last term is negative 65. When we multiply this all out, we get negative 765. All right, page 3 is in the next video.